latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for May 16th. Well, it's good to be back on my end doing Tropical Weather Bulletins. Not the same format as last night. Nathan didn't send me the template, but he's also busy off covering stuff in the UK. So we're kind of throwing it back to the way it was last year. Nothing is active anyway, so it's not like it really matters in the end. So let's hope that pattern continues. In the Atlantic, we're now 16 days until Atlantic hurricane season. Of course, people are still wondering whether we're going to mark that area of interest that is still being held up for the time being until more support shows. For right now, we are looking at nothing in the next 5 days in this particular basin. In the Eastern Pacific, it's day 2 of Eastern Pacific, and well, here you go. It's another blank slate here. Nothing going on at all, and nothing expected in the next 5 days. Although there is that slight rumbling that there is a chance that the thing that we're looking at Atlantic could cross into the Eastern Pacific. We don't even know what's going on with that. Might as well just wait and see. In the Western Pacific, it's the same story. Nothing active at all, and nothing expected in the next 5 days either. It's a completely blank slate here as well. And then, of course, moving on into the North Indian Ocean, it's the same exact picture. There is absolutely nothing going on, and there is still nothing going on in the next 5 days. The first peak of the season is ending soon, and it is looking like we're going relatively unscathed compared to what we saw the last 2 years in the April and May peaks. Well, here is the Atlantic satellite imagery, and you can see what's going on. We have a system that's been traversing the western Atlantic, as well as an extratropical low that's been bringing impacts north of the Azores and probably could get into the UK in a few days. Other than that, not really anything going on. There's a bit of cloud cover going on near the Panama Canal, which could be the source of what we see eventually. In the Eastern Pacific, it's not much going on here. Very little cloud cover, and nothing that would be giving away to any kind of storms developing in the next 5 days here, so it's looking like it's going to be a pretty blank slate in terms of anything for a while here. In the Western Pacific, you can see what's going on. A little disturbance to the south of China. That doesn't look to be doing anything too much. Could bring some heavy rainfall across portions of southern China and Taiwan. Other than that, really not going to be much of a threat. Philippines, of course, seeing some cloud cover as well. Really, it's just the picture you would want for the Western Pacific. Nothing going on, and no typhoons either. And for the North Indian Ocean, you can see what's going on here. You got a little bit of a disturbance that's been affecting part of southern India, but other than that, nothing really discernible that really wouldn't be what you would typically see. Of course, as we head into the summer months, you're really going to see nothing going on in the Bay of Bengal. And of course, for our floater imagery, we are taking it to the good old-fashioned Central Pacific. You knew I had to after nearly 6 months of not doing these. We had to give a nice little tribute to the Central Pacific, who has still not produced anything in now 935 days. Just an insane amount of days that we've now waited for that Central Pacific storm. Here, this is our temperatures, 28 to 30 degrees Celsius temperatures in the eastern portion of the Eastern Pacific. It gets cooler to 26 and 27 as you head out west. In the Atlantic, we're looking at 27 to 28 in the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean, 26 to 27 across the main development region. And in the subtropics, they're still looking relatively cool, around 24 to 25 degrees Celsius. Of course, all of these temperatures are going to continue to go up as we head into the season, especially by August and September. In the North Indian Ocean, it's looking really warm here, 28 to 30 degrees Celsius throughout the entire region. Of course, there's that little cool spot that was left behind by Asani, but it's still pretty warm regardless, 28 to 29, even where it left off. In the Philippines, it's around 30 degrees Celsius, and then elsewhere it's around 28 to 29 across the Western Pacific. And in the Southern Hemisphere, we're starting to see things cool off, with the 30 degree and 28 degrees Celsius temperatures receding northward. Other than that, it's pretty much what you would expect for this time with a La Nina in May. And going into our sea surface temperature anomalies, you can clearly see our La Nina that is continuing to be in full swing, and it is definitely going to be a key factor for what we see in 2022, continuing to promote the activity we've already been seeing for the last several years here. It's really not going to be changing, unfortunately. Heading over into the on this day side of things, we're looking at 2004, May 16th, where we had Super Typhoon Nita that was passing pretty close to the Philippines, a Category 5 typhoon with winds of 160 miles an hour, responsible for $1.3 million in damage, as well as 31 fatalities. It would of course head north and then northeastward, 2004 primarily becoming a year to remember in the North Atlantic, but regardless, each basin can have its own powerful storms that do its own damage, regardless of what environmental conditions we're looking at. So keep in mind it only takes one, and that's going to be the theme as we head into the rest of this year. That brings us over to the next names in the Atlantic. We're looking up for Alex as the first name that forms. In the Eastern Pacific, we're looking out for Agatha. And in the Central Pacific, while we may be going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, some of us here are going cuckoo for when Hone will finally form. Yes, that was a Hone joke. I'm sorry for those who are disappointed. In the Western Pacific, we're looking for Chaba, followed by Irie. And in the North Indian Ocean, we're looking for Asani, followed by Citrang. And going on over into the Southern Hemisphere season, which we probably won't be seeing any names for the foreseeable future, we have Darien as the next Australian region name. We also have Latlama as the next Southwestern Indian Ocean name, and then we have Gina as the next South Pacific name. My Hone joke shenanigans and other TWBs will continue for the next several months.